Blake Lively in another bust up, with actress locked in feud with Joanna Gaines over security fiasco at Texas hotel.
It started as a quiet weekend retreat and turned into a psychological thriller starring Blake Lively. What happened inside that small-town Texas hotel will leave you speechless.
Blake Lively is a very loud person.
Blake Lively didn't check into Hotel 1928 looking for trouble. Or maybe she did. In Waco, Texas, a boutique hotel owned by America's favorite fixer-upper queen, Joanna Gaines, became the unexpected setting for one of the most bizarre celebrity meltdowns in recent memory.
His behaviors, the way that he acts, is either psychopathic, narcissist. There's a lot going on there, but it seems
Lively arrived like royalty, loud and impossible to ignore, as if the Magnolia wallpaper should have bowed in her presence. But the chaos didn't fully ignite until she crossed paths with an unsuspecting guest named Caitlin Cooper, a woman simply trying to heal from a personal tragedy alongside her mother. But here's where it gets interesting. Caitlin wasn't some influencer or gossip blogger. She wasn't looking for clout. She had fewer than 100 Instagram followers and zero interest in celebrity drama. This hotel had been on her bucket list. Nothing more. She wanted peace. What she got instead was a front row seat to the unraveling of one of Hollywood's most carefully curated personas.
Blake Lively and Joanna Gaines locked in a feud right now. We have got to talk about that.
As Caitlin quietly sat in the lobby, she noticed Lively entering the hotel with dramatic flair. The actress, famous for her role in Gossip Girl, was unmistakable, especially since she made no attempt to be subtle. And then it happened. Caitlin's phone caught a blurry 3-second clip from across the room. Nothing incriminating, nothing intentional. Just a fan quietly admiring a celeb from afar. But Lively didn't see it that way. You won't believe what happens next, because this is where the story flips from awkward to downright disturbing.
If you don't know, during South by South weekend, Blake Lively was staying at Hotel 1928, which is in Waco, Texas, about an hour and a half from where South by Southwest was taking place.
Blake noticed. She saw the phone, and instead of brushing it off, she allegedly transformed into a paranoid sleuth, laser-focused on Caitlin like it was a scene out of Black Mirror. The following day, Caitlin found herself being filmed by Blake. Not in passing, no. Blake allegedly circled her car, zoomed in on her license plate, and treated the hotel parking lot like it was a high-security zone. Stick with me, because this next part explains everything. Blake wasn't alone. Out of nowhere, a mysterious security guard appeared, standing ominously near the license plate as if rehearsing for a spy thriller. Caitlin and her mother left in shock. Their peaceful weekend turned into a memory they'd rather forget. But that's just the beginning. What started as a blurry, accidental video turned into a full-blown celebrity surveillance operation. And the person behind the camera? Blake Lively herself. Caitlin Cooper never expected that her relaxing weekend would end with her being stalked by a Hollywood A-lister. She wasn't hiding in bushes or trying to sneak a tabloid shot. She was sitting calmly in a hotel lobby, sipping coffee with her mom. But when she casually lifted her phone and captured a few seconds of Blake Lively, just a grainy clip from far away, everything changed. And then it took a dark turn. Blake, according to reports, spiraled. She noticed the phone, noticed Caitlin, and allegedly went into full meltdown mode. Not only did she storm off, but the next morning, she came back with a mission and a phone of her own. But this wasn't a sweet celebrity interaction. This was some next-level paranoia. Instead of a conversation, Blake allegedly started filming Caitlin. Not just in passing, not just for a second. She filmed her like she was collecting evidence, walked around her car, zoomed in on the license plate, circled it like a detective in a thriller. But listen to this. There was no warning. No, "Hey, were you filming me?" No confrontation. Just silent filming from Blake, as if Caitlin was some national threat. Caitlin didn't even know what was happening at first. She just noticed someone walking up, and then realized it was Blake Lively. Phone out, zero chill, scanning her car like it held a state secret. And here's where it gets even weirder. A security guard showed up. Not hotel staff, not a valet. Just a random man who, according to Caitlin, stood by silently watching, hovering near the license plate, saying nothing, doing nothing. It felt like something out of Stranger Things. Who was he? Why was he there? No one knows for sure. But the message was clear. Blake was watching. Don't scroll yet, because this next detail is insane. After Caitlin and her mom drove off, shaken and confused, she posted a private story on Instagram. Just a quiet, personal reflection on the surreal experience. But suddenly, strangers started watching. Troll accounts mocking her appearance. Users referencing her wedding date in Mumbai, their handles. It wasn't random. It was targeted. And guess who showed up on the viewers list? Blake's social media manager, the hotel manager, a woman who looked just like Blake's nanny, and an attorney. Now here's the twist. This wasn't just a freak encounter. It was the beginning of a full-blown reputation collapse. When the fallout hit, Blake didn't take responsibility. She pointed fingers. And the first person in the line of fire? America's design sweetheart, Joanna Gaines. Joanna Gaines is the last last person you'd expect to be tangled in a Hollywood scandal. She's built her empire on calm, cozy vibes, shiplap, soft lighting, and cinnamon muffins. But when Blake Lively's weekend imploded at Joanna's boutique hotel, Hotel 1928, things got messy fast. And instead of owning the chaos, Blake allegedly turned on Joanna like she was the villain in a soap opera. But it gets crazier. Sources say that when Blake realized she wasn't getting the royal treatment she expected, no red carpet, no private floor, no velvet ropes, she absolutely lost it. Imagine expecting a 5-star celebrity welcome in a small Texas town, only to walk through the lobby like a normal guest. For most people, that's fine. But for Blake, it was apparently unacceptable. She reportedly confronted Joanna and her staff in a full-blown meltdown, accusing them of betrayal for not rolling out the VIP carpet. Think about that. A boutique hotel, meant to feel quaint and down to earth, is being treated like Buckingham Palace. Blake didn't just want privacy. She wanted control. Hold that thought, because it connects to something even crazier. Behind closed doors, Blake and Joanna were allegedly meeting for a potential business venture. Details are scarce, but whispers suggest it involved branding or a collaboration. But whatever plans were on the table, they vanished fast. Because after Blake's hotel rampage, Joanna did something powerful. She went silent. No statement, no Instagram quote, just pure radio silence. And that silence, it was loud. Joanna Gaines doesn't court drama. She doesn't need the press. And she definitely doesn't need a PR nightmare like Blake Lively. Industry insiders say Joanna immediately pulled the plug on the deal, and who can blame her? You can't build a wholesome empire with someone who allegedly terrorizes hotel guests and films license plates like a CIA operative. Don't scroll yet, because what happened next proves just how fragile Blake's public image really is. Once Joanna backed away, the dominoes started falling, fast. The hotel staff began talking. Waco locals started posting. Suddenly, the small-town incident exploded into a full-blown viral mess, and Blake's name was all over it. Not in Gossip Girl glamour, but in raw, unscripted, very real chaos. And that's when the world started paying attention. You'd think the nightmare ended when Caitlyn left the hotel, but what happened next felt like something out of a psychological horror film. Caitlyn Cooper thought she could leave the drama behind her. After all, she wasn't famous. She didn't post anything public. Her Instagram was private, just a small healing trip with her mom to a place they'd always dreamed of visiting. But what followed her out of Hotel 1928 was darker than anything she expected, because someone, somewhere, decided to turn her quiet life into a digital battlefield. And here's where it gets wild. After posting a short, private Instagram story recounting the bizarre encounter with Blake, Caitlyn suddenly noticed unfamiliar usernames viewing her story. These weren't just strangers. They were strategic. The names mocked her appearance, referenced her miscarriage, and even included her wedding date. These weren't coincidences. These were targeted attacks. Caitlyn's private world had been infiltrated, and someone wanted her to feel it. But that's not all. She checked the list of who had seen her story, and among the viewers, Blake Lively's social media manager, a hotel manager, a nanny who looked identical to the woman seen with Blake that weekend, and most disturbingly, a lawyer. These weren't trolls off the street. These were people with direct ties to Blake. Stick with me, because this next part explains everything. It's not just about protecting privacy. It's about controlling the narrative. Caitlyn wasn't posting to gain followers or go viral. She was simply venting, trying to make sense of something that felt surreal and scary. But even that tiny whisper online was too much. And suddenly, it felt like the walls were closing in. Silent watchers, hidden viewers, unspoken threats. It sounds crazy, but it's true. Imagine being a regular person and suddenly realizing you've drawn the ire of one of the most famous actresses in the world. And not just her, but her entire digital infrastructure. Caitlyn wasn't just being watched, she was being tracked. And the message was clear: stay quiet, but she didn't. And now the story was leaking out. Don't scroll yet, because this is the moment Blake Lively's illusion of control began to crack. He's Hollywood's favorite funny man, the charming king of sarcasm. But behind the Deadpool mask, there's a whole other Ryan Reynolds the world wasn't supposed to see. For years, Ryan Reynolds has been wrapped in a shiny, sarcasm-drenched package. The witty one-liners, the wholesome dad jokes, the Instagram posts that make it seem like he's just a goofy husband roasting his wife. But what if I told you it's all an act? Because beneath the charm is a man with a track record Hollywood insiders have been whispering about for years. And now, those whispers are turning into alarms. Let's rewind for a second. Before Blake, there was Scarlett Johansson, the power, couple everyone rooted for, until it all quietly imploded. And according to multiple sources, it wasn't a clean breakup. It was infidelity. Ryan didn't just move on from Scarlett. He allegedly cheated on her with Blake. But that's not the only woman. Reports claim he was also seeing actress Paula Garces at the same time. That's not romance. That's a CW-level love triangle playing out in real life. And it gets worse. Ryan didn't just cheat. He ghosted. He bailed on cast members. On the set of Waiting, a 2000s comedy relic, Ryan skipped the entire DVD commentary session. And the rest of the cast? They didn't hold back. They dragged him, on the record, during the official commentary. not subtle jabs, full-blown roast mode. They exposed how hard he was to work with, how disconnected he was, how he carried himself like the set revolved around him. The nice guy mask was already slipping, way back then. But hold that thought, because this next part will make your jaw drop. You know those sweet stories Ryan tells on talk shows? The relationship tales? The heartfelt memories? Turns out he recycles them. Same stories, different names. He told stories about Scarlett, and then told the exact same ones about Blake. That's not romantic, that's scripted. He's selling a character, and people bought it. You won't believe what comes next. Ryan often talks about his father's battle with Parkinson's, positioning himself as a compassionate son who champions research. But behind the scenes, his dad reportedly died on a stranger's couch. Despite having millions in the bank and access to the best care money could buy, Ryan allegedly let his father die without comfort, without dignity, and now uses that tragedy as a press talking point. That's not empathy, that's exploitation. This isn't just bad behavior, it's a pattern. The lies, the ghosting, the manipulation, the constant image control, it all fits a profile, Hollywood. Insiders have started calling him out. Words like narcissist, even psychopath. And as the truth spills out, his squeaky clean rep is circling the drain. But you need to hear this, because the next part reveals how deep the manipulation goes. Every time a scandal surfaces, it disappears like magic. But what if I told you it's not magic? It's manipulation. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds don't just live in Hollywood, they practically run their own Hollywood inside the machine. When the spotlight gets too hot or the headlines get too close to the truth, something strange happens. The stories vanish, blogs go quiet, articles get scrubbed, and in their place, fluffy stories about eco-friendly vodka, quirky parenting moments, or adorable couple selfies. It's not coincidence. It's strategy, but that's just the beginning. When the cheating rumors between Blake and Ryan first started swirling, the press didn't pounce. They pivoted. Suddenly, the media was flooded with reports of Ryan dating Sandra Bullock. Meanwhile, Blake was seen vacationing with Leonardo DiCaprio. It looked spontaneous, but behind the scenes, it was PR sleight of hand. The couple wasn't just avoiding bad press, they were redirecting it, staging distractions to rewrite the narrative in real time. And it gets crazier. Their teams reportedly have deals with top-tier publications. Think People magazine, US Weekly. Outlets that should be digging into the truth, but instead act like their personal hype squads. Why? Because in exchange for red carpet access and exclusive couple photos, these magazines allegedly bury negative stories. It's media manipulation. Dressed in designer clothes, you scratch our back, we kill the truth. Hold that thought, because here comes a real jaw-dropper. In August 2024, while Blake and Ryan were facing heat for Blake's meltdown at the hotel, a paparazzi photo conveniently surfaced. The location? Taylor Swift's Rhode Island mansion. The photo? A perfect crystal-clear shot of Blake and Ryan holding hands, walking into Taylor's house. It looked spontaneous. It wasn't. Taylor's estate is notoriously private, surrounded by security and multiple escape routes. Getting a shot like that isn't luck. It's a setup, and here's why that matters. The headlines immediately changed. Instead of focusing on hotel harassment and license plate stalking, the story became Blake and Ryan visit BFF Taylor Swift during tough time. It was a Hail Mary attempt to borrow Taylor's pristine reputation and deflect attention. But this time, the public didn't buy it, and neither did Taylor. You won't believe what happens next, because Blake's bestie would soon go dead silent. When Taylor Swift goes silent, the world notices, especially when her so-called best friend is spiraling into scandal. For years, Blake Lively wore her friendship with Taylor Swift like a designer shield. She wasn't just friends with Taylor, she was the godmother to her kids. They vacationed together, posted heartfelt birthday tributes, shared inside jokes on Instagram, and whenever Blake's image needed a boost, Taylor's name was right there, like a glitter-covered stamp of approval. But then came the hotel incident, the stalking claims, the media backlash, and something shifted. And here's the twist. Taylor Swift said nothing, not a tweet, not a love you comment, not even a lazy Instagram story repost. The woman who's known for writing entire albums about betrayal stayed silent. No Super Bowl parties, no birthday shout-outs, no cozy selfies. It was as if she'd been erased from Blake's world, and vice versa. And in a friendship built so publicly, that kind of silence is screaming. But listen to this, because what happened next proves it wasn't just distance, it was damage control. After the hotel meltdown, reports say Blake dragged Taylor's name into a lie about the It Ends With Us film. Allegedly, she claimed Taylor wouldn't allow her song in the movie unless the original composer was fired. But insiders quickly shut that down. Total fiction. Blake, according to sources, used Taylor's name as leverage in a behind-the-scenes power play, and Taylor did not appreciate it. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. Because of that lie, Taylor Swift, one of the most private celebrities on the planet, may now be forced to testify in federal court. Blake's texts from August 2024 onward are admissible, and if Taylor's name was used in those exchanges, her private messages could become court evidence. Think about that. One of the most powerful women in music, dragged into a lawsuit because her friend couldn't stop lying. But it gets even more brutal. Insiders say Taylor didn't just back away, she cut ties completely. No more support, no public affection, no No backstage hangouts or bestie squad headlines. For someone as PR savvy as Taylor Swift, silence isn't an accident. It's a statement. And it sent a message loud and clear. You're on your own now. And with Taylor gone, Blake's last line of public defense vanished too. She built an empire on pastel aesthetics, filtered smiles, and relatable mom energy. But behind the curtain, Blake Lively was allegedly running a Hollywood dictatorship. Blake Lively has spent over a decade perfecting her brand. Not her, acting career, her brand. The pastel-colored Instagram feed, the cute baking fails, the quirky interviews about motherhood. She was the Pinterest dream, a mix of glam, girl next door, and goofball. But now, that carefully curated illusion is cracking like cheap shiplap under pressure. Because the stories coming out about Blake paint a very different picture. And it starts with a toxic pattern that's been hiding in plain sight. Multiple insiders, crew members, former co-stars, assistants are starting to speak up. They describe a woman obsessed with control, one who allegedly bullied people on set, micromanaged everything, and turned every minor inconvenience into a personal vendetta. And now that she has millions, lawyers, and Ryan Reynolds at her side, that energy hasn't disappeared. It's been weaponized. But here's where it gets even more chilling. Remember It Ends With Us? Blake didn't just star in it. According to sources, she hijacked it. When things didn't go her way, she reportedly pushed director Justin Baldoni aside, replaced his edit with her own version, and spread false claims that Taylor Swift supported her takeover. Not only was it a power grab, it was a complete PR, fabrication. And when the composer objected, Blake allegedly used Taylor's name to justify firing him. Except Taylor never said those things. It was all a lie, and the reason will surprise you. It wasn't just ambition, it was desperation. Because Blake's so-called production company, it's all smoke and mirrors, endless coming soon announcements. No real success, no finished projects. It's not a creative powerhouse, it's a control bunker, designed to make her look important while she pulls strings behind the scenes. But here's the part you can't miss. Blake's biggest weapon has always been her silence. The ability to shut down critics, bury headlines, and make uncomfortable truths disappear. But now, it's not working. Former allies like Taylor Swift and Gigi Hadid have gone silent. Hollywood producers are backing away. The press is finally printing what used to get killed. Her fake girl boss persona is officially toast. She thought she could rewrite the story, but Justin Baldoni didn't just clap back. He brought a legal wrecking ball. Blake Lively may have expected Hollywood to stay silent. She may have thought she could bulldoze a director, hijack a movie, and walk away with a tidy edit and a prettier narrative. But she made one fatal mistake, underestimating Justin Baldoni. Because when she allegedly pushed him out of the It Ends With Us project, he didn't just step aside. He came back swinging, with receipts. And we're not talking vague tweets or dramatic quotes. No, Justin dropped emails, text threads, internal timelines. A countersuit was filed, and inside it were the kind of receipts that don't just ruin reputations, they destroy them. No more curated pastel filters, no quirky captions to hide behind. Just hard evidence of behind-the-scenes manipulation, power grabs, and lies stacked on lies. But that's not all. Among the most damning revelations, that Blake didn't just lie about Taylor Swift's involvement. She used Taylor's name as a battering ram, telling producers and composers that Taylor wouldn't allow her song in the movie unless certain people were fired. It was fake, completely fabricated. And that lie could now put Taylor Swift on the witness stand in federal court. Stick with me, because this next detail is a game changer. As the case moved forward, the judge made a ruling that stunned even industry veterans. Every single one of Blake's text messages from August 2024 onward is admissible. That means every panic text, every veiled threat, every power play, all of it, will be read aloud in court. The pastel-perfect girl boss is about to be dissected, line by line. And guess who else's text could get dragged into the spotlight? Taylor's, Gigi's, Joanna's. Anyone Blake messaged during her frantic cleanup operation might find their words submitted as evidence. All because one celebrity allegedly couldn't take being told no. It sounds like a legal thriller, but it's real life. Justin Baldoni didn't just expose the drama, he documented it. He showed how Blake allegedly manipulated the press, silenced dissent, rewrote contracts, and weaponized her friendships to bulldoze over anyone who stood in her way. And this time, Hollywood didn't look away. They leaned in. Don't scroll. Yet, because in part 10, we reveal what this all means for Blake, Ryan, and the legacy they thought they could protect. For years, they played the perfect couple. Now their empire is burning, and no pastel filter can hide the flame. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds were once the gold standard of celebrity coupledom. Witty Instagram banter, adorable red carpet, moments. Matching outfits at Taylor Swift's parties. They weren't just famous, they were beloved. But now, that golden image is collapsing under the weight of lawsuits, scandals, and a decade of carefully curated lies. And just when they thought they could contain the fallout, it exploded. Because this wasn't one rogue story. It wasn't a fluke. It was a pattern of control, gaslighting, and manipulation. From the alleged harassment of a grieving woman at a Texas hotel to orchestrated PR campaigns designed to erase truth and manufacture innocence, the illusion has shattered, and Hollywood is done pretending. But here's the brutal twist. Everyone's backing away. Joanna Gaines, once a potential business partner, pulled the plug and ghosted. Taylor Swift, godmother to their child, won't even say Blake's name. Gigi Hadid, silent. The press outlets that once ran fluff pieces on demand, they're now leading with headlines like, "The Dark Side of Blake and Ryan." It gets worse. Inside, sources say Ryan's charm is no longer working behind closed doors. Studios that once courted his sarcasm are quietly distancing themselves. Directors who used to jump at the chance to cast Blake are turning elsewhere. The industry is taking notes. And this time, it's not looking away. You need to hear this part. Even their most loyal fans are beginning to question everything. Because it's one thing to fake a smile or stage a candid photo. It's another to weaponize your fame, exploit your friendships, and allegedly use people like Taylor Swift as human shields for your messes. The couple that once made us laugh is now making the world uncomfortable. And now, it's all unraveling. Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool charm can't spin this. Blake Lively's floral dresses can't soften it. The texts are coming. The court is watching. And the world is seeing them for what they really are. Not Hollywood royalty, but two powerful players who thought their fame made them untouchable. But the truth has a way of surviving. And now that the mask has slipped, there's no putting it back on.